Today, and over the next couple of days, we are going to solve a murder. A couple of weeks ago, I watched Carrie Can read a thriller book and then try to solve it as she's going along, reading it and giving updates. And I thought, that looks fun. I want to do that. And I'm sure she's not the first person to do that, but she was the person I was watching, and that made me think of this. And then she posted another one of those videos today, and I was like, that looks fun. I want to do that. What are some lesbian mystery novels I could solve? And then I realized I'm literally reading one. I literally just started a murder mystery. So this was serendipitous, a different kind of video for me. I'm doing this on the fly. I'm just filming on my phone. We're vlogging a little bit. We are reading Pride or Die by C.L. Montblanc. I'm 17% of the way through the book, which is not very far. It's kind of far for like a first update, but like not really. We don't really know a lot yet. There's a few leads. I'll get there. This is a YA murder mystery. So this high school's LGBT club is having a secret, unauthorized meeting during the school's pep rally when they hear in the hallway a girl screaming. They go to investigate, and one of the cheerleaders, Kinsley, is laying on the ground in the hallway, passed out, bleeding. She has a mark on her forehead that looks like the number 1, which I first thought was literally just a straight line, like someone just cut her. And our main character was like, that looks like the number 1. Like a circle looks like the letter 0. But no, we get to talk to some police later, and they're also like, what does that number 1 mean? So it has a number 1 on her head, which makes me think this is not going to be our first victim. I know, I'm a genius, hold your applause. Because our LGBT club is the one who found the body, they are now the prime suspects. The principal sees them all sort of hovering around this injured woman. Our main character is Eleanor. She's a lesbian. She is seen with her hands in the blood. She was trying to call the cops 911, and she dropped her phone in the blood, and now she's rummaging around through the blood. We have Tyler, who is non-binary, and they might just be standing around. And then we have Noah, who is a trans gay guy, I think, and he is holding a hammer. Or Tyler is holding the hammer. I don't know. I don't remember. It doesn't matter. Neither of them are suspects. So we start in Eleanor's point of view. The whole book is in Eleanor's point of view so far. We are in the classroom where they usually have their meetings, but they are redecorating because they are trying to attract new members. This is a very, very small club. It is just the 3 of them, and then a 4th guy who is closeted. He is a football player, and he comes onto the scene slightly later. Our main 3, Tyler, Noah, Eleanor, are in the room when they hear the scream, and so they were not there. They are not the murderers. Unless some weird shit goes down that I haven't gotten to yet. I don't suspect that. But Salim is the next person to come to the crime scene. He also heard the screams. He was in the pep rally. It's a mandatory pep rally. They were supposed to be there. And he was in the pep rally because he's a football player, but he sort of left early to come join the club and help them decorate the room. And so he stumbles upon this scene as well and is like freaked out. I don't suspect him. Technically, if one of the members was to be the murderer, it would have to be him. And it would be possibly a cool twist to go, everyone suspects the gay club because they were the ones that found them, but we have to prove our innocence. But actually, it was one of the gay club members all along. But I don't know what his motives are. I don't know, I mean, he's a football player, so he kind of knows the cheerleaders, but I don't think he's friends with this girl. I don't think he has a motive, and also he seems kind of like a dumb himbo, but maybe he's faking it to seem less suspicious. But I think he's just a dumb himbo. I don't know what his motive would be if it were to be him. And also, I said we're gonna solve a murder. It's not a murder. She's alive. She survives, but she doesn't know who attacked her. But she does tell the police that she does not think it was any of the gay club members, which is surprising because Kinsley, the cheerleader, is a homophobe. At the start of the year, the gay club hosted like flyers. Like they had a welcoming party for new members, inviting anyone who wants to come to the club to check out the club at the start of the new school year. And a bunch of people showed up. But a bunch of people showed up because it was incorrectly listed in the flyers in the list of clubs as the BLT club. So half the school showed up expecting free sandwiches, and boy, were they mad. They were hangry mad and also homophobe mad. And Kinsley was one of those people who was like leading the mocking of the gay club. And so the gay club, they are persona non grata. Even the principal hates them. And even the principal keeps calling them the BLT club. He's very comically evil. And also the writing quality is a little weird. As soon as he finds the gay club over this incapacitated student, he just like calls them into the principal's office and is like, I know you murdered a lady. And I'm like, I think you should call the police if you truly believe that, but okay, we'll just question the children in the principal's office unofficially. But they do some official police questioning later. The police show up at their individual houses and talk to them, although one of them did not get a visit from the police. Was it Salim? Was it Salim? Salim's on the back burner. It's possible. I do think it will have to be a character that has already been introduced, because that's how mysteries work mostly. We gotta know who it is. We gotta know what we're working to, or else, you know, if it's a fucking ghost. If the end of this reveal is that it was a ghost, it was some lady we've never seen before, that's not very satisfying, and I'm gonna be mad about it. So who have we seen that I suspect? I have a couple of options. One, there is a pink-haired freshman. I don't know if we know their name yet. I think it's a girl, but maybe I just heard pink hair and I assumed their gender. I should not do that for the LGBT club. But there is a pink-haired freshman who Eleanor talked to like very early on in the school year and was like, hey, you should come to our gay club. And so they showed up at the gay club meeting where everyone was mad about sandwiches. And then they saw all of the homophobia happening and they were like, no, I can't join the gay club. I'm just gonna be in the closet and not associating with these people. So I think possibly that kid is mad at the homophobes and is going to attack all of the main homophobic people because she resents them, or they resent the homophobes for ruining their club and them getting a chance to find community. So the pink-haired freshman is suspect number 1. Suspect number 2, Noah has a twin sister who is friends with Kinsley, and I don't really know what her motive is yet, but it seems like they're kind of close. And also we keep hearing about Noah's twin, and she's like kind of funky. She makes him carry headshots in case they get like approached by a modeling agency because they like twins. So maybe she's got some weird like narcissistic lofty goals of a success an acting career or something. Maybe she's jealous of the other cheerleader. Maybe she's a better cheerleader or something. Also, maybe they were secretly gay, secretly lovers. Someone, I was just listening to the book, someone just said that it's always the boyfriend. So apparently Kinley does have a boyfriend. However, I have reason to suspect that Kinley might secretly be gay. She might be closeted, and it's because she's sort of being very kind to Eleanor in a way that is not typical. She usually mocks Eleanor, calls her sandwich girl for the BLT club fiasco, and is not friendly. But she told the police that they were friendly. And then Eleanor went to visit her so as not to look like a murderer who stabbed her. And when Eleanor goes to visit her in the hospital, she is pretty friendly. And then there's a couple lines that are like, her pretty eyes, you know, the classic kind of romance setup things. So we might have an enemies to lovers, bullies to lovers kind of thing here. And maybe Eleanor was not picking up on some signals that this was more flirtatious teasing rather than awful bullying. But it did seem a little bit like bullying, I'm gonna be honest. So maybe Kenley has a secret girlfriend. But also maybe, I don't know about that, because I think she's trying to flirt with Eleanor. And I'm also thinking maybe the pink-haired freshman is targeting closeted homophobes. Like maybe the pink-haired freshman was doing some research and found out about Kinsley's secret girlfriend or secret crush on Eleanor or something, and was like, you're a hypocrite. You're a hypocrite number 1. So who's 2? I don't know yet. I feel like once we know who the second victim is, maybe we'll see a pattern of recognition. I'm expecting Salim possibly to be one of the next victims because he is closeted. He is not homophobe, but he's also not completely supportive of his group members. He doesn't show up to every meeting. Again, he was late to this initial meeting because he needed to save face with the football guys. So the GSL is not his main priority. And maybe pink-haired freshman is like, you don't even appreciate the friends that you had. You're just closeted and you're trying to pretend you're straight and you're still hanging out with all these homophobes. I wish I could have joined the GSL club and been myself. I would have appreciated that role. And so you're a hypocrite number 2 or 3. I'm expecting him not to be the next victim. I think he'll be like the last victim. And that's like some sort of major nail in the coffin. Like, oh my god, now they're killing our friends. Even though no one's died. And I don't know that anyone will actually die. It is a YA novel. And it does feel like a YA novel. And it's a little bit silly at times. Again, like that stuff with the principal. He keeps calling them the BLT club. And also not calling like the police. Like if he really, really believed that they were murderers, like you'd tell the police and you would talk to them. I don't want to hang out with a bunch of murderers in my office alone. No, that's the police's problem. So there's like some silly whimsy. It's not like the most accurate crime investigation I think I've ever seen. Although I don't know a lot of crime and I haven't committed any crime. I'm not a police. I was gonna make a pig joke and then I remembered I was born in the year of the boar. I am a pig, but I don't know. So the pink-haired freshman is my first lock-in suspect. I also watch a lot of Chase Bridges, who is he watches TV shows and solves mysteries, which is not related to books, but is this sort of format. I actually like mystery novels, and I don't read a lot of them. I feel like there aren't a lot of queer mystery novels. I mean, there must be. I don't know why there wouldn't be. I'm probably just not finding them. They're just not being recommended to me. I'm reading too many romances, I guess. But I don't know. This is fun. I'm excited. I want to see where this goes. I don't know how long this video is going to be. I don't know how frequently I'm going to give updates. Let's see what happens. Looks okay. I'm having fun. It's not the greatest written thing in the world, but it's fine. It's a simple, straightforward YA novel, and I'm okay with that, and I'm having fun solving a mystery. Not a murder, I guess. I lied. It's clickbait. I'm sorry. I'll check in later. Okay, I just finished chapter 8. When I last left off, I was at the end of chapter 5. Immediately when I started reading this again, they began to suspect Talia, Noah's twin sister, so it is probably not her. But that's okay. She was my backup suspect. Something else I forgot to mention from the first part is that when they are visiting Kenley in the hospital, they find a photograph in her room of a blonde boy and his family, and no one knows who these people are. But they all suspect that this is a clue. So I'm thinking the pink-haired freshman. Hear me out. What's an easy hair color to dye? Blonde. Thoughts? Also, I don't remember the pink-haired freshman's gender, but this is a queer novel, so maybe there's some transness going on. We look different. The guy looks different. Perhaps our suspect has trans their gender and dyed their hair, and now they look different, and that's why no one recognizes them. And also, the pink-haired freshman is a freshman, and so not a lot of people know them yet. You know, I think we're pretty sort of in the start of a new year. I don't actually know what time it is. Whatever, hear me out. This is a small town, everyone knows each other, but they mostly know the people in their class, and so they would not recognize a freshman. Something there. But anyway, to pick up with the plot, we go to see Talia, because she's a suspect now, at Noah's house, and they ask her some questions, and they divulge that they are trying to solve Kinley's murder. I feel like my camera's really off-center. Is that better? Sorry if I'm just sideways the whole time. This mystery's got me all topsy-turvy. So we go to see Talia to question her about Kinley and Kinley's life, and if she suspects anyone. She seems to be pretty upset about the Kinley thing. She doesn't seem very suspicious. But she says that she won't divulge Kinley's secrets unless she gets something in return, and that something she wants is alcohol for her party tonight. And I said, oh boy, here we go. If you've seen any of the videos on this channel, you know that I hate party scenes in YA novels because they're never realistically done and they're overused and cliche. This one's not too bad. all of our main characters are like, we don't want to get you alcohol for your party. We're trying to convince the police that we didn't commit a crime, and now you want us to commit a crime. How are we gonna get alcohol? We're like 16. But they need this information. They need to solve this murder, and so they make a plan to go to the liquor store and only buy beer. They refuse to buy hard liquor because they don't want to give anyone alcohol poisoning, so they only buy cheap beer. And there's some other details that I liked in a party scene, preferred over any other party scene in every other book, basically. Eleanor doesn't drink, even at the party. Noah does, I think. But even, like, the people there, so many YA novels are just like, yeah, teenagers drink every weekend. We all throw these big parties every weekend, and we're all just drunk all the time. And we just get alcohol real easy, and it's not even a thing. This is just normal. This is just life. And it's not. And in this book, it kind of knows that this is like a special thing. And it's like a big party. Everyone's here. There's like no exclusivity. Anyone's welcome. It's like a homecoming thing. So it is early in the year. But even the people, like, they start with like bottle openers trying to open the beer, and then they can't do it, and then they have to switch to the pull tab beers because they're inexperienced children who do not regularly drink. That is a good detail. I like that Eleanor didn't drink, and also one of her friends at the party is like, do you have like carrot sticks with you? You seem like the kind of girl who would just have a bag of carrot sticks in your purse. I would like a snack. And she's like, I don't have carrot sticks. It's grapes. I am the kind of guy who would drink water and have a bag of grapes, not in my purse, but in my cargo shorts. I'm the guy who carries around a bag of grapes in their cargo shorts. So I kind of like Eleonora, mostly, except when we're on this sting, we go to the convenience store to buy alcohol, except Eleanor is there as the backup. The person buying the alcohol is Salim, because he looks older and he has a fake ID. It says it's because his brother bought fake IDs. He has an older brother. I also like these kids don't just all have a ton of delinquent older siblings and like people in their life who will just buy them alcohol. They have no means of getting alcohol except for Salim and his fake ID. That I'm suspicious of this interaction for several reasons. So Salim initially did not seem thrilled at the prospect of having to buy alcohol, but he goes and he does it, and he's pretty chill about it. You know, he plays it cool. He's like, I'm a guy who buys alcohol. I am 21. However, Salim is the dumb himbo. He's kind of a big dumb klutz. Even when they were at Noah and Talia's house, he was like just tripping over the carpets, being a fucking doofus. And now he's cool, calm, and collected. That's suspicious. And then afterwards at the party, he's like, I'm never doing that again. But like, you did it pretty well, and why did you have that fake ID? He says his brother got it in like a 2-for-1 deal. But I don't know, if someone had tried to give me a fake ID, I would have been like, don't want a fake ID. I'm not getting caught with that, fuck you. So like, why did he take that fake ID? Was that a real story? Has he done this before? Is he lying? Another note, Salim is blonde. Like the boy in the picture. The boy in the picture is not Salim, we'll get to that later. I'm thinking maybe Salim's brother? And also, we know that the photograph was left in Kinley's hospital room. Who do we know was at Kinley's hospital? Our main character, Eleonora, but she didn't put it there. Talia, who's there, but again, she's not that suspect. And Salim was there. He could have put it there, and I think he got there before Eleonora. And obviously he is not the one in the photograph. I'm thinking like maybe his brother. Maybe his brother is blonde as well. Although it does say Salim's like a big guy, he's a football guy, and his older brother, I don't know, I would guess looks like him. But we, spoiler alert, see the blonde guy at the end of chapter 9 at this party. At the end of chapter 8. That's where it cut off, and we see this blonde guy like running around the lawn at the party, and now we're gonna go chase him. So this is where I stopped because I feel like we're gonna get something about who this blonde boy is. I don't know who the blonde boy is, I'm gonna be honest. I don't think it's Salim's older brother who like moved away. He doesn't live here. I forget where it says he lives, like far away, like he don't live here. And he's probably not a tiny little guy at this high school party. So that might not be Salim family in the photograph. Also, I'm not sure if Eleonora knows what Salim's family looks like. She like knows him, she's friends with him, but like I don't know if she knows him like that. So that might not be Salim. Now, supposedly this blonde boy is also blonde at this party, which means they don't have pink hair. I don't know. Something evil twin. Evil twin. Nice twin of the pink haired freshman. They're little, so they could be a freshman. Small means young. We've already set up twins with Noah and Talia, so maybe we have more twins. I'm not sure. We're gonna get some major information. But back to what I was saying. When they're at the convenience store buying the alcohol, Eleanor's like looking out for Salim. Like she'll cause a distraction if she needs to. And she's watching him buy this alcohol and like doing it well. She's like, I'm really proud watching him commit this classy misdemeanor. Is buying alcohol for children a classy misdemeanor? I can't think of a lot of classy misdemeanors, but that one's definitely not at the top of the list. Buying children cheap beer? Classy? Eleanor. I was really rooting for you with the grapes in the purse, man, but like, you lost me there. But anyway, there's a good slapstick moment where their principal comes into the convenience store while they're trying to buy alcohol, and she's trying to distract him. I think they're wearing disguises, so she pretends to be someone else, but it's a bad disguise, and he catches her, and then she spills hot coffee on his dick. That's what happens, which is funny. And then they run out of there and they get the alcohol and they go to the party, and they're at the party right now. But also at the party, we get introduced to some more suspects. So Kenley's boyfriend, Derek. Wait, before I get to Derek, we go to Talia and we say, we got you cheap beer, give us the information. And she says that Kenley has been dealing drugs, but not like dealing drugs. She has an Adderall prescription and she is selling that to someone, supposedly. Other students. I don't know if Talia knows. Then this seems like not a big operation, because then the plan, Eleanor goes and talks to Derek, Kinley's boyfriend, and asks him for drugs, try to get, the information. She doesn't actually want drugs. And he makes it seem like this is a small business, an exclusive little side thing that he and Kinley have had going on. But his friend Josh, who I think will become more important later, Josh supposedly didn't know about it, so this is a very small operation between him and Kenley. We also learned that Kenley very frequently talks about Eleonora to Derek, who didn't even really seem to know who Eleonora was until she was like, oh, you're the sandwich girl that Kenley talks about all the time. So I'm pretty sure Kenley's a little gay. And also she's texting Eleonora because she's still in the hospital while they're at the party, and then they're kind of joking around together. I'm sensing some romance. And also her and Derek, maybe not actually a couple, or maybe they broke up and no one knows. Sensing some troubles there for several reasons. But we learn about this drug thing. I don't know where that's going. I'm gonna be honest. All I can think of, I don't do drugs. When I think of Adderall, people selling Adderall, I think of the game Life is Strange. Specifically Life is Strange Before the Storm, where the football player, like Salim, was selling drugs to the other football players, like Salim's friends, so that they could study and do well in their classes, because they're dumb, because they're just football players. They don't know books, they know sports. So maybe Salim is in on this, was buying the drugs again, because he was buying that alcohol, so he has committed a crime of illegal substances. So was he buying Adderall? Suspicious. Other than that, I don't know where the fuck that's going. They also mentioned that it's a study drug, helps you do better in school. I already said that. So I don't know any bookish characters who could be the suspects of the drug buying. I don't know who the customer is. I don't know if that's relevant. That might be a red herring. Because again, I feel like perhaps we've met the killer by now. Not killer. No one's dead. We've met the attempted murderer by now. And I don't know. There's no one else to suspect. Except the principal. The principal did it. I don't think the principal did it. But I was saying, Josh. So he is one of the popular guys. He's in this crew, but he's very nice. And he helped Eleonora when she got shoved in a locker one time. So he is not homophobic, which makes me think, if we go back to the theory that this is someone, the pink-haired freshman, targeting possibly hypocritical people in the popular circle, maybe closeted people. I don't know if this guy's gay. No indication of that. But maybe, you know, he's not homophobic, but he sort of hangs out with these homophobic people and tolerates it. And so the pink-haired freshman on a revenge trip is like, I see you, you hypocrite. You're gonna be hypocrite number 2. There was no second victim yet. We'll get there. I'm gonna stop recording because I want to go find out who the boy is, the blonde boy. And also, this video is gonna be too long. We're only 27% of the way through the book, but it is action-packed, and I like that. And I don't know what's going on yet. I'm on my toes. I'm learning. I'm ready. Okay, I just finished chapter 16. I feel like not a ton has happened, but I think there's a lot of little things that happened. I'm gonna talk about all the little things. Okay, so where we left off. Eleonora and Tyler were chasing down the blonde boy at the party. They find him talking to Noah and Salim, who also recognized him and confronted him. And okay, they are immediately not suspicious of this boy, which makes me suspicious of this boy. His name is Timothy Bennett. I think he's a freshman. I don't know. I actually don't remember now. It doesn't matter. He says that his photo ended up in Kinley's hospital room because he dropped it. He carries around family photos because he's a fucking weirdo. And he dropped that family photo. And I think it is implied that he dropped it in the hallway at the school and that the photograph was not planted in Kinley's hospital room as I suspected. So when the police find Kinley and take her to the hospital, they sort of just take everything in the hallway and then give it to her because they assume that it was stuff that she dropped. And that's how Eleonora's phone also ended up in Kinley's things in the hospital room, because she dropped her phone while she was trying to call the police and it was on Kinley's body. And so allegedly this photograph just happened to be in the hallway at the time of the murder scene. And that's how it got there. And it was a red herring. And the Eleonora specifically calls this photograph a red herring. However, I'm suspicious. Not for a lot of reasons. One, Eleonora, our point of view character, did not interview this man and gather this information. This was told to us secondhand by Noah and Salim, who were drunk at this party, or at least Noah is. I don't know if Salim's drunk. But we, as the audience, do not see Timothy telling the story, so I cannot assess his credibility. Also, I suspect him just because there's one line. Eleonora is talking about the murder, and she says that Kinley said that she was at her own locker. Kinley was at Kinley's locker. And Eleonora's in the hallway, and she's looking, and she's like, that's weird. This isn't Kinley's locker. This is several rows down. It's a little farther down the alphabet. I forget Kinley's last name. I want to say it starts with like B-A. Bayron. Bayron. Kaylin Bayron. I don't remember. But Eleonora's like, this isn't Kinley's locker. This is like Beckett or Bennett or somewhere down here. Bennett. That's Timothy's last name. And it doesn't bring up Timothy there. You just have to remember the last names, which, as we just assessed, is hard for some people to do, not naming names. Some people. But I am a genius, and I remember Timothy's name. And that feels like a little Easter egg that's like, Did you pick up on that? That's a little clue, if you were paying attention. Was she at Timothy's locker? Maybe Timothy is the drug buyer. We don't know who that is yet. He's a weird little dude. He could be taking drugs. He does seem very anxious at this party. I don't think Adderall makes you unanxious. Maybe if you have ADHD. Maybe he has unmedicated ADHD and he needs medication, but his family won't let him because it's sort of implied that his family's religious. They keep saying he looks like he's a Mormon. So he's just some blonde white kid who carries around pictures of his family. He might be an unmedicated ADHD Mormon kid who needs medication that his parents won't give him. Do Mormons not do healthcare? I don't know. That's a theory I'm coming up with right now. with no basis in any knowledge of what Mormons do. But it seems like she was at his locker. Sus. But she doesn't say why she's at his locker. Eleanor, like, suspects Kinsley and thinks she's, like, not that Kinsley hurt herself, but that Kinsley is unreliable and, like, giving false information. Also, is it Kinley or Kinsley? I'm so good at this, guys. I love details. I'm so good at picking up on them. However, we have received confirmation that one of my earlier theories was correct. Kingley is flirting with Eleonora and has been. She thought the Sandwich Girl nickname was, like, cute and, like, that they were being friendly and that she was, like, helping Eleonora and that, like, her calling her Sandwich Girl and, like, being friendly would get all the other bullies to stop bullying her. But Eleonora just thought she was being bullied the whole time. So Eleonora is a clueless gay who has not been picking up on Kinley's advances, which also makes Eleonora maybe not the best detective. You get the sense that these aren't, like, child genius detectives here. We are a bumbling group of idiots. I think it would be funny if at the end of this book, the police are just like, that person did it. Of course we were investigating this. Why were you doing this? We're the police. We got this. But there's definitely a little bit of something blossoming between Kinley and Eleonora. Kinley's back at school now. She's kind of involved in the group. She's helping them do shenanigans that happened later. Before we get to where I just left off, other details of note. At the party, we walk in on Talia, Noah's sister, and Kinley's best friend hooking up with Derek, Kinley's boyfriend. That does give Talia and Derek motives. I'm still not really suspecting Talia. She just seems, I don't know. She's got a lot going on, but I don't think she's a murderer. Let's hope that doesn't come back to bite me. And Derek is too obvious. Tyler's the smart one in the group. They want to be a lawyer, and they're really sad about, like, this academic probation that they've been put on, because they really need a scholarship to be able to afford to go to law school and become a lawyer. And they're pretty convinced that it's Derek, which is a solid guess, to be honest, because if someone is attacked and their boyfriend is a drug dealer who is cheating on them, it was probably the drug dealing, cheating boyfriend. That's a good rule of thumb for life in general. It's usually the boyfriend, and this boyfriend is especially shady. However, I don't know that he did it because it's too obvious. That's boring. A little bit. So Tyler thinks it's Derek. Eleanor is convinced that Kinley's lying, but I don't think Kinley's lying. I think Kinley's just trying to flirt with Eleonora. She might know something though. There's something with the drug dealing. I don't know. I'm expecting some kind of twist with that where Kinley isn't actually the drug dealer. Maybe, like, Derek is the drug dealer and Talia is lying and saying that Kinley's involved with it to, like, take some of the pressure off Derek, who's actually the drug dealer. I don't know about that. They haven't confronted Kinley about the drug thing. And she also doesn't seem like the type to do drugs. She seems like she just wants to hang out with Eleonora. That's Kinley's main personality trait right now. And also she's good with tech stuff. We're learning that. I don't know that that's relevant to my investigation. And then we also accuse Principal Ballard. At first that seems like a little jokey joke, because allegedly he would have been at the pep rally with all those people. But then they kind of suspect him again later. They go to the school. They break into the school at night to see security footage. And they find that the security footage of the attack has been deleted. And it was deleted immediately after the attack happened. So it was someone tech savvy. But we know Principal Ballard is not tech savvy, because Noah found his dating profile and is catfishing him by pretending to be a woman masseuse who sends feet pics. He's into that. That's kind of funny. This book is pretty funny. There's a lot of moments where I'm like, okay, that's a funny line. It's not like constantly laugh out loud hilarious, but it's pretty funny. So they kind of suspect Principal Ballard, but I don't think they're really going to go down that path, and I don't suspect Principal Ballard because he ain't doing all this. I don't know, Ben. Now, where I just left off, where they are breaking into the school and saw the footage, now they kind of suspect the school security guard, Herb, who was like an old man who was bad at his job, and he sees them getting bullied and just doesn't fucking care. They always say he's like slow. Again, like he didn't stop the attack. He wasn't fast enough to stop the attack. Apparently their security system is just like one old man. I don't know where this takes place, in like what year. I feel like it's America. In my school, we just had a bunch of rent-a-cops, and like there were security guards everywhere. There must be more than one security guard at the school, but we don't know them. So they're kind of suspicious of Herb because they think he would have had access to the cameras. But I don't think it's him because he's a slow old man, allegedly. And he's also maybe possibly kind of a pervert. Kinley makes a comment about him looking at her ankles when they're talking about the feet pic stuff. That's interesting. I don't need to know that. However, I developed a new suspect. Janitor Shaw, who gets briefly mentioned, but not in the very, very beginning. I'm thinking the culprit is someone we are introduced to immediately, like really, really soon. And Janitor Shaw gets brought up once in a throwaway line that I remember, maybe 15 to 20% of the way through the book, which is pretty early. But Eleanor is just like, oh, Janitor Shaw, we love that guy. He's the nicest guy. Everyone loves him. The people actually like pick up their trash on purpose so that they create less work for him. Maybe they only have one janitor. That's not how schools work, but he's the only mentioned janitor. But he is really nice. We meet him in this section of the book I read. Talia is talking to Eleonora in a supply closet at school. They go in there to have some privacy and to talk about how Talia got caught with Derek. She confirms that Derek and Kinley are together and have been together for like 3 years. And she says that Derek loves her. I don't know, man. I mean, you're cheating on her. Whatever. I'm not really suspecting them. This feels like high school drama. Shenanigans is just like the red herring. Like, they're just in the way. I don't really care about Talia and Derek and their straight people infidelities. Talia is also dating Josh, by the way. So, like, that is more motive. And I don't know, I thought Josh would be a victim. We don't have another victim yet. If the fucking one was literally just a single knife slash that looked like that, instead of, like, you know, the one with the base and the yeah, that's a one. Yeah, you know what that is. Oh, but Josh is involved in this as well. The weird infidelity. Maybe Josh is the murderer because he caught. But Josh, no, because Josh's girlfriend is cheating on him, and Kinley's not. Kinley's not cheating on him. There's a lot of names. I mean, you can hear me stumbling over the names. I'm sorry. So I don't know why Josh would hurt Kinley when he and Kinley are the afflicted parties here. But maybe Derek and Talia could kill Kinley and Josh to get them out of the way. But I feel like just dump her. You're in high school. Just dump her. I don't think it's them. But anyway, Janitor Shaw walks in on them in the supply closet and is like, no, I get it, girls. I'm not gonna say nothing. You know, it's hard to find privacy at the school. You guys can do your little makeout session in here. They were not making out, but they're both very embarrassed. But he says something like that. He's like, I know how hard it is to find privacy at the school. What you need privacy for, mister? Your murders? Your murders? But why would he kill Kenley? I don't know the motives. But he does work at the school. He would have access to the security office, maybe, or like he would know where to get a key. He works there. Everyone loves him. They trust him. They'd never suspect nice old Janitor Shaw, but I will. I've realized that the strategy to this video is to accuse everyone. Everyone. No, no one's getting a pass. If I briefly accuse every single person, at the end, when they reveal who it is, I will be able to say, haha, I suspected that person for 30 minutes. I got it right. I got 90% of other things wrong, but I got this one thing right, briefly. So everyone's a suspect. I think anyone at the school could have done it. Bold statement. However, I'm not sure. He's not my only suspect. Okay, let's go through the suspect list. I'm not sure it's the pink-haired freshman. The pink-haired freshman, by the way, guys, pink-haired sophomore now. I think the BLT event, the fiasco, the sandwich fiasco, happened last year when the pink-haired freshman was a freshman. But now it's a new year, and now the club is trying to reinvent themselves and like start over and get rid of this label from last year. And so the pink-haired freshman is a pink-haired sophomore, and it is a girl. And she briefly appears here, but it is just like sees Eleanor and is like, I'm not talking to those people. No, those people are getting bullied. They might have killed someone. She just runs away, and she does have pink hair, and she's not the blonde boy. And the blonde boy is not Salim's brother because Salim talked to him. I might have been wrong. Maybe. But maybe she doesn't want to talk to Eleonora because she did it. She doesn't want Eleonora's investigation to catch on to her. Possible suspect. That's my wild card, which has been my literally number one suspect this whole video. But now I'm suspicious of Timothy and the janitor, which is good because so far my suspects have been the one Arab guy and the pink-haired liberal I've wrongly accused of being a violent transgender. So the optics aren't great. It's time to accuse a white man. So Timothy's sus, just because they ruled him out so easily. Why was Kinley at his locker? And also he seems like a little weirdo that no one really knows or is friends with. And so maybe he could have snuck away from the pep rally without anyone noticing, because he's just weird like that. Supposedly like Derek would have been at the pep rally. There's some other bully girls who I haven't mentioned. Their names are like Sydney and Ariana. It's Adrian, I think. I keep calling her Ariana Grande. I keep calling the two of them collectively Ariana Grande. One of them is named Adrian, and the other is like Sydney. Sybil. They're just bullies. I don't think it's them. They don't matter. But they would have been at the pep rally. Talia would have been at the pep rally. She's a cheerleader, I think. So like, I'm not seeing it's them. I think this creepy little kid could have snuck away, or the janitor. What's the janitor's motive? I don't fucking know. We're also looking for someone who knew that they were at the party, because the police show up the morning after the party, and it's implied that both Principal Ballard like ratted on them or like was telling the police to investigate them, and that someone called the police at the party and said, hey, this whole suspicious group is together, and like if you come to this address you will find all of them together and can like interview them together, and like maybe implied that they thought this group would attack someone else at the party, which no one gets attacked at the party. So we're looking for someone at the party who called them in, and Eleanor is like, it's probably just those bully girls. Ariana Grande ratted out us because she's Ariana Grande and she's wicked. Is that a good joke? No. But I'm thinking it could be Timothy because he was there at the party. I don't think the janitor was there at the party. I don't know where this janitor theory is going, but it's sus because like everyone loves him. And he's talking about, oh, you guys need privacy. I know what that's like. What does that mean, bro? So it might have been someone at the party. That might be something that it's left on the table and not totally resolved. Where we ended off right now, so the kids are in the school after hours looking at the security footage, and they hear someone come in. They think it's Herb. We don't have that confirmed yet, but it might be the security guard Herb. And they're kind of caught. They're listening to the video recorded, the footage, the noise. Someone hears the noise and comes looking, and it's like, hey, I heard someone in here. And Eleonora plans to be like, oh my god, guys, hide. I'm gonna step out. I'm gonna take the blame, and then you guys can hide and run away eventually. But as Eleanor is doing that, Salim is pushing her away. He's gonna go take the blame, and it's kind of framed as like a hero move. But like, what if he knows who the killer is? What if he's involved? I don't think he did anything super sus in this section. More dumb himbo antics from him. He says he took the secretary role in this club because he thought it had something to do with secrets. But that might have just been a joke, because Noah said he took the treasury job because he likes treasure. Even though he's bad with money, he didn't realize it was the money thing. So that might have just been a joke. But secrets? Something secrets? Like the janitor? What if it's Salim and the janitor? Why? I don't fucking know. I feel like the motives won't be clear until we have another victim. If we ever have another victim. It did say when they heard someone come into the school, it sounded like dragging and moaning, which makes you think of a dead body, but I feel like it's gonna be a bait and switch, and just Herb's like just fucking carrying some stuff, and he's the one groaning because he's old and he can't carry anything. I don't know, but maybe Salim's in on it. Or maybe it is the pink-haired sophomore, Timothy sus, the janitor sus. I don't know. I need to read more. That's it. That's my update. let's go see if Salim gets in trouble. Because Salim's like the good guy. I feel like it might just be Salim taking one for the team because everyone loves him and he's nice and he's friends with everybody and he's a popular kid and he's a football player and so he can just like, he can take the hit, you know? Whereas the principal hates all the rest of them for being gay. And he doesn't know Salim is gay. Well, he does. He knows Salim is technically a member of the club, but Salim's not like out. So like maybe he can take the hit. If we'll find out. Whatever. This video is gonna be so long. But I'm halfway through the book now. Halfway done. Okay, a shorter update. I think I just finished chapter 22. Where are we at? Okay, so the principal finds a note that says, "Watch out, gays at homecoming." I should have noted this verbatim because they repeat it several times. You'd think I'd be paying attention during the mystery novel? Why would I do that? The note says something like, "Watch out at homecoming, gays. This time I won't miss." So everyone's like, oh shit, we gotta go to homecoming. We gotta get murdered. They tell the guidance counselor, who I haven't mentioned before, she is a lesbian. She was the one nice adult in this novel, except for the janitor, who is sketchy. I'll get to that. So they tell the guidance counselor about this note that the principal found, but why did the principal find it and not like the gay club? I mean, I guess the gay club doesn't meet, so how do you leave it for the gay club specifically? The principal kind of thinks that the gay club wrote this note and is like framing themselves as a joke or something, or to like make it seem like someone else is targeting them. Instead of them being the murderers, like they're trying to get suspicion off of them. But the gay club knows that they didn't write this. Salim got caught. Salim got caught in the school. He took the fall. He is in jail right now. So he couldn't have wrote the note. I don't think any of our gay club members wrote the note. But I think we're gonna go to homecoming soon. I think it's today. I haven't got there yet. It's soon. Eleanor's mom doesn't want her to go to homecoming. They warned the counselor, so she's gonna take that day off of school. But I don't think that this note is authentic. Not authentic, but honest. I think the murderer is not homophobic, because why were they targeting Kensley? Kensley's gay. Kensley? What is her name? I mean, she is gay, secretly. We don't really know that, but we know that. We also know that she's not really dating her boyfriend, Derek. They're friends and they're kind of like fake dating just because, you know, it looks nice to have a partner in high school so no one thinks you're a single loser. And so Kinley is fine with him sleeping with Talia. It was just a thing. And also Talia's boyfriend found out and he's like, I cheated on her once in 6th grade, so now we're even. So it's whatever. That drama's going on. I don't care. But I don't think that the killer was killing Kenley because they knew she was gay and they hate gay people. I think the killer might be involved in this drug thing, and I think they know that the gay club is sort of taking the fall right now. And so they're making it look like the killer is involved in the gayness in some way, when really the motives are something else completely different. And it's just like trying to throw the scent trail off. You know what I mean? So this drug thing, I'm suspecting that Janitor Shaw might be involved somehow. There's a lot here. I don't feel like recounting the details because we don't really know a lot yet, and so I'm speculating a lot. We found out Herb, the security guard, is the one who caught Salim, caught them in the school at night, but only Salim got caught. But we also find out that Herb, the security guard, has been selling keys to students so that they can sneak in after hours and doing some weird sketchy stuff. And we know that the janitor, Mr. Shaw, has reported him for this. And also some keys have gone missing that might be related to the fake key debacle. So we know that Mr. Shaw, Janitor Shaw, is reporting this, but he might be involved in this somehow and is like blaming Herb. It seems like a lot of shit goes down in this janitor's closet. So something I didn't mention was that when Talia and Eleonora got caught in the janitor's closet making out, there was a note in the closet that said, "You owe me big time," which could mean anything and could be from anyone, but why was it in the janitor's closet? Also, we've learned that in the janitor's closet have been drugs. Janitor Shaw reports that he found a bag of drugs in the janitor's closet, and then turned it into the principal. So the drug deals may be happening in the supply closet, but I think the janitor might have been in on that. He might have been working with Derek or someone and then got caught, or like someone kind of knows, or like he's scared of getting caught, so he kind of wants out, and so he's like turning in the drugs instead of selling them, or like letting the sales go down. I'm thinking possibly we learned that Kinley does know about Derek's drug business. I thought maybe Kinley didn't know and Derek was doing this behind her back and Talia was like lying about Kinley knowing. But Kinley does know, and Kinley is the one getting the drugs from her doctor and then selling them. They are like her Adderall prescriptions. And we find out who the buyer is. The buyer is Tyler. But we know Tyler didn't kill her because they were in the room. But they are the bookish one. I did say, I bet the buyer is like someone bookish, but I don't know anyone bookish in the book. Tyler's the bookish one. They're the one that was buying Adderall. It seems like they don't anymore though. Like they tried it and it didn't work because drugs don't fix your problems. Who knew? So it seems like they stopped. But there are other customers. But Tyler was lying about the drug knowing business. They pretended that they didn't know anything about it. I'm thinking maybe the janitor was scared of them getting caught and was in on it, and then like wants to take out Kenley. Like maybe Kenley was gonna blame it on him. I don't know. We get more of Ken. We talk with Kenley about the drug stuff, about the dating Derek Talia situation, and we talk about that day that she was attacked. And it does seem like she knows something else that she isn't saying yet. But she claims that she and Derek left the pep rally early, and because Derek had to go to his car for something, she thinks he's getting his football uniform. Something else is going on there. Because, like, what was he doing? Where did he go? And then she said she just, like, stood in the hallway waiting for him for 20 minutes, and he never came back. At least not until she was attacked. Which is just suspicious. Maybe he got some other uniform. I don't know. Because Josh is, like, the mascot. I'm thinking, like, maybe someone in a mascot costume could have got her, but she doesn't remember who attacked her, allegedly, so she says. But she does say that she saw Salim. Again, Salim was in the hallway. He was in the bathroom taking a dump, he said. But he was around. And she does mention that. But it also kind of seems like she's bringing that up to distract from the fact that Eleanor thinks she's lying about something else. Like, she's hiding something else. So she's like, oh, but, like, have you considered Salim? And they're like, oh, wait, have we considered Salim? Like, he was there. And also, you know, maybe he's trying to get back at Derek because Derek is the quarterback and Salim wants a football scholarship. And if Derek kind of sucks, allegedly, at the game, so, like, if they took Derek out, maybe they'd get a better quarterback. And then they'd be better and he'd get a scholarship or something. That's what they're kind of thinking. Now, I'm thinking that since they're suspecting Salim, is probably not Salim. But I did predict this storyline earlier. I have suspected Salim the whole time, but it's probably not him, because I don't think we're at the end of the book yet, where, like, that would be the reveal. We're at 68% in. Almost 69. Almost nice. So I think maybe Kenley knows who it is. And she claims she was just waiting at a random locker, just waiting for Derek. But I think Timmy, little Timmy, where are you? Not a lot about him here. No mention that it was his locker, no mention of talking to him, no mention of Kenley talking to anyone while she was waiting for Derek. But, like, why were you just standing there for 20 minutes? Girl, go do something else. 20 minutes? So I think maybe she's lying. Maybe she met with Timmy at his locker. And he is one of the buyers. He seems like a weird guy who could be buying drugs. And then maybe, like, she got her supplies stolen. Again, I think that was the stash in the janitor room. Although she doesn't seem to know where she left it. She's like, I guess I just left my bag somewhere. And then it didn't, you know, it got lost. And I didn't want to go to Lost and Found and be like, have you guys seen a bag of drugs? That's mine. So I don't know how the drugs ended up in the janitor room. Or if they did. Or if the janitor, like, caught them somehow. Or, like, knew that Kinley had them because he's involved and, like, took it from her. I don't know. I think the drugs might actually be involved in the motive here. That's unfortunate. That's boring to me a little bit. I don't know. Not really. I mean, it has to be something else. Because I don't think it's the gay thing. I think they were just unlucky and gay. Um, so it must be some other motive. Drugs are as good as any, I guess. That seems like something people get in trouble for a lot. Like maybe Timmy's in on it, and like he's mad that he didn't get his Adderall in time, and was confronting her, or maybe like he's in on it with the janitor, and the janitor's blackmailing him, and so he's gonna take out Kenley and blame Kenley. I don't know. I also still don't know what the fuck that one is about. I mean, allegedly this person will strike again. They're leaving notes as if they're going to strike again, but I really thought we would have more victims by now. Again, we're 68% of the way through the book. There's only one victim, and there's been no other sign of violence. I don't know. Maybe at Homecoming we'll get another thing, but that could also just be like the climax of the book, where we actually find out who done it. I don't know what's going on. I think it might be the janitor and Timmy. Maybe Derek's involved, but I don't really think he's the murderer. But like maybe he knows the murderer. But I don't know if he knows that they did the murdering. If you don't, no one did any murdering. There's no murder. No one's murdered. Attempted murderer. So I feel like it wasn't Derek, and I feel like it wasn't Talia. We get another mention of like, Kinley says she saw someone from the gay club before she was attacked, and she means Salim. But Eleonora is like, could she have seen Talia and mistaken her for Noah? Because I think they're identical twins. And so like, I don't know, I'm thinking like Talia in a wig to look like a boy or something. Or Noah in a wig to look like a girl. But he was in the room. He did not attack her. We know where he was, and we know where Tyler was, and we know where Eleanor was. So they are not on the table. I don't know. We're gonna find out more. I think it's the janitor. That's all I got. Janitor and little Timmy boy, who I think will come back and do something. And I think it's something with the drugs. I don't know, man. It's definitely the janitor. I've read just like a tiny bit more. I'm just in chapter 23. It's totally him. Eleonora finds him at her locker cleaning up some vandalism that happened. Apparently someone wrote on her and Tyler's lockers, "Watch out," allegedly, but he's cleaned it though. But he claims that he reported this to the police because the officers were there that morning, which they were. But did he actually report it? Now, I don't think he wrote this himself. I think maybe he's working with Derek or someone, and Derek wrote it. And the janitor is like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, we're trying to frame them for the crime, not like make everyone know that they aren't the culprit. So he's cleaning it so that no one, to cover up the evidence of his stupid conspirator. And he also says that, I don't know who did it. I would check the security cameras for you, but since the break-in, we don't have access to that room anymore, which means he did have previous access to that room and could have deleted the footage of the attack. And now he's talking about how he has a daughter who's sick. And he's like, I can't afford to lose this job because my daughter needs medication. It's him. And I think he was selling drugs to like pay for his daughter's medication. Sus. He did it. I do think he's working with someone, maybe Timmy. Although Timmy's pretty meek, so I can't really see him analyzing. I don't know. We don't know a lot about Timmy. It might not be Timmy. Timmy might just be some guy. But it's gotta be the janitor, man. Okay, that's it. Okay, another quick update. I think I'll probably finish this book today. We have just finished chapter 28. There's a few things to comment on. I'm not sure when we're going to get the big reveal. We are about to go into the homecoming dance, which I assume is going to be the climax. And I don't know like when the big reveal is going to be. Because I don't know if this is like the type of book that will wait till like the last page. I don't think so. I think we'll have a bit of a denouement here to, you know, see all the kids getting happy and getting off academic probation and getting their scholarships and doing all the good stuff, the good fun stuff. There's an hour and a half left, so we're definitely coming up onto something. It's definitely the janitor. Since I checked in, we've ruled out the security guard because he's weak and old. Eleanor has him throw a book, and he can't throw a book, so he did not attack a woman. We've ruled out Principal Ballard because we went snooping through his office, and he's actually a nice guy, besides from the homophobia. But he's a nice guy who founded a charity against battered women. So it's not him. He doesn't attack women. We've talked to Kinley. She really doesn't know who attacked her. I believe her now. She said that again, and this time I believed her. Also pretty sure it's not Salim, because he said he really didn't see her on his way to the bathroom to take a dump when she was getting attacked. I believe he was in the bathroom taking a dump. Eleanor feels really bad for accusing him, and as do I. Sorry, Salim. The pink-haired freshman gets a shout-out, but only because they're talking about how the gays are being targeted. You know, the gays need to watch out at this homecoming dance. And they're like, how do we protect all the gay people, including people like Kinley, who has come out to Eleonora and is like, I'm probably queer, I don't know. She's gay. Who knew? Who knew? But Kinley is gay, and she did genuinely want to join the LGBT club before it turned into a sandwich fiasco. So they're like, how do we protect Kinley and like the pink-haired freshman girl, sophomore? Like all the closeted people. Like maybe the killer, you know, knows some of the closeted people and is going after them. I don't think so. I still think the gayness is a scapegoat. The killer's trying to focus on other things. Also, what the only thing that's bothering me is the fucking one on her forehead. Was it just this mark? Was it just that? Because there's no other victims. Was there ever going to be other victims? Because I really feel like it's the janitor in this drug trafficking ring. We also get confirmation that Derek is the one who did the graffiti on the lockers, because they checked the security footage and it was him. Or someone who looked like him, it was him. But they think he is also the one who called the cops and told them where they were staying, all at Talia's house that one night at the party. They think that because he was in their house and saw a whiteboard where they had like mapped out the attack, and he could have seen that and thought, oh, like they planned the attack. They didn't do this after the attack, they did it beforehand. So he might genuinely think that they attacked his girlfriend / friend. So that was probably him. But I do think he's still working with the janitor. It's the drug. The drug thing has to come into it, because we don't have resolution. Also, it has to be the janitor because they've accused everyone. Like me, they have accused everyone except the janitor, even though he's very suspicious. And I don't think this was a hard mystery to solve. If it's not the janitor, I'll be eating my words. But I'm pretty sure it's the janitor. And I mean, it's a YA novel, so it's not like the most incredible like mystery of all time. I don't think this is marketed as the most hard to solve mystery in the entire world. You know what I mean? I think it was the janitor. One clue we haven't fully touched on is the note that Eleonora found in the janitor's closet. It says, "You owe me big time," but it also has a string of numbers. I forgot that. And these string of numbers, Eleonora thinks it's a date, but I know it's a locker combination because I'm a genius. And not because right before we rediscover this note, Eleonora goes to her locker and puts in her locker combination and is like, man, I always get my locker combination wrong. These locker combinations are so tricky. Don't you guys hate locker combinations? Then she gets in her locker and sees the note and she's like, oh yeah, this note. What could this string of numbers be? And she thinks it's a date, but I, a genius, know that it's a locker combination. It's 9/28/26, which does look like a date, but that day hasn't happened yet. It's a locker combination, but we don't know that yet. Well, I know that. Eleonora doesn't know that, and I don't know what locker it is. I think possibly Kenley was going to get into Timothy's locker, because we are at Timothy Bennett's locker. Timothy also not coming up a lot here. It has to be into play. It doesn't have to. He might just be a guy. But why was she standing at his locker for 20 minutes? That's so fucking boring. She doesn't even say she was on her phone or nothing. Just standing there for 20 minutes? I do believe her though, and she doesn't know. But like, I feel like someone was getting into someone's locker, and I'm gonna guess that's something for the drugs. Like they were moving the drugs around. So there's a couple options. Either Kenley was getting into Timmy's locker for some reason to give him drugs, like deposit the drugs in there, since the supply closet route wasn't working because they got their drugs stolen once, or Timmy was giving the locker combination to the janitor for Eleanor's locker so that the janitor could get, not Eleanor, for Kenley's locker so that the janitor could get the drugs out of Kenley's locker and then turn them in or something. Because the janitor turned in some drugs that he says were in the supply room, but we don't trust the janitor. He did it. He's the guy. So I don't know what this locker is, but also our team does believe that there are multiple culprits here working together, which is what I think. I think it's the janitor and probably Derek and or Timmy are somehow involved with the drug thing. I don't think like Derek killed her. Our group seems pretty confident that Derek wasn't it, and Kenley seems pretty confident that Derek never came back and therefore did not kill her. No one killed her because she's not dead, you know what I mean? So I don't think Derek is like maliciously covering up for the janitor. I don't know if the janitor did the attacking or if he got Timmy to do the attacking, but the janitor is involved. It's gotta be the drug thing. That's it. There's nothing else going on. Unless it's like the gay counselor. Why would she do that? I don't know. I don't think it's the gay counselor. I do think it's probably the white man janitor. I feel like the villain is a white man. The book does point out, Eleanor is like, man, I really shouldn't have blamed Salim because I've seen him be the victim of, you know, racialized misconceptions and violence. And then I just like turned on him. I was like, the Arab guy did it. I also said the Arab guy did it. There were clues. There were intentionally clues to make me sus of him. It wasn't because he was Arab, it was because he dyed his hair blonde, and I thought he was the boy in the picture. Oh, but it's probably a white man. Because I don't know. Because I don't think any of the gay people are like framing the gay people and pretending to be homophobic in order to attack Kenley. Why would anyone attack Kenley if it's not for the drugs? And there's no other victims. I thought we'd be dealing with at least like 3 to 4 victims. Especially by now. Maybe someone gets attacked at homecoming. But I really thought this would be like a serial assault case. And it's just Kenley. So it has to be the drug thing. It's the janitor. I don't know, guys. I'll check in. Maybe before the end, maybe not. I don't know when the reveal's gonna happen. It's the janitor. I finished the book. It wasn't the janitor. It wasn't Timmy. It wasn't the pink-haired freshman. It was Talia. So, I'm not a genius. However, I did accuse Talia. I accused Talia before we even met her. And then as soon as we did meet her, I was like, nah, it's not her. Of all the people it could have been, that was a pretty bad guess. This was like the worst outcome for me. Considering I'd guessed everyone, this was about the worst outcome. So it turns out that when Kenley was standing in front of that locker for 20 minutes, she was actually being lookout. Derek was not outside getting his football jersey from his car. He was in Principal Ballard's office, trying to find the drugs that Mr. Shaw, the janitor, turned in, and trying to get them back. And then he was also rigging the homecoming votes so that he and Kenley would win homecoming queen and king. That doesn't matter. There is a very funny joke about how the homecoming royalty is really important to this town because the town is so small that the closest thing to royalty they have is Dairy Queen. Burger King burnt down 2 years ago. That was a very funny line. So she was being the lookout, and that's why Derek never came back. Also, Derek never came back because he was getting into the office through the vents, not the keys. I thought it was going to be the keys. The security guard had given him a copy. He was crawling through the vents, and that's why Kenley never saw him come back, but he didn't do it. It was Talia. Derek then crawled through the vents from the principal's office to the security room to delete the footage of him being in the principal's office, and just coincidentally that happened to be the exact time that Kenley was attacked. And so when he deleted that footage, it deleted like all the camera footage of all of the rooms. And so coincidentally, the attacker was not on camera. It was Talia. What Talia was doing was hiding in little Timmy's locker. I guess Talia must have known that they had a plan to break into the principal's office during the homecoming rally, pep rally, which would make sense because she knows Derek. and was like in on the drug stuff. The janitor wasn't in on the drug stuff at all. But Talia must have known like where they were. The lockers must be near the principal's office, and would have known that Kinley was going to be the lookout in this specific area. That's the way I'm making sense of this in my head, because otherwise it's convenient. So she was like, whose locker's around here? Timmy, who, by the way, Timmy's last name is not Bennett, it's Benton. But I'm a dumbass, and I picked up on the clue anyway, and like those names, that was a clue, and that was Timmy's locker, even though it didn't say his name, even though I thought it said his name. But I was meant to pick up on the fact that his name was close enough that this was this area. Also, Talia's last name is Stevens, so this was definitely not her locker. Not even close. I don't know, whatever. So Talia knew that Kinley would be standing right here. I feel like I've mixed up the names Kinley and Talia. You guys just gotta know what I'm talking about. We're like an hour in. You just gotta know. Talia knew Kinley would be standing right there. And she was like, I can bribe that little freshman to give me his locker number if I give him the invites to all of my parties forever. And he'll do that because he's a sniveling little freshman nerd. So Talia was hiding in the locker and was planning to come out and attack Kinley. And what happened is she opened the locker door and just fucking smacked Kinley in the head. She just nailed exactly where Kinley was going to be. And the one on her head, not a one, it's the indentation of the locker. Just like the corner of the locker is like the perfect shape for the one mark, so it wasn't a one. Which is, my immediate thought was just like, she just hit her head that way. But what threw me off was the police were like, that is a one. That is an intentional serial killer mark. It was just the locker indent. But the whole drugs thing was just a red herring, as I also said, and then I got wrapped up in it anyway. Talia's real motivations were to defend her brother. Her brother Noah is part of the LGBT club. She saw all the bullying that happened and like how much shit he got for being part of this club and for being trans and being queer. And she was like, this is Kinley's fault. So you know what? I did get a motive. I nailed the motive. It wasn't a pink-haired freshman. But that was like my pink-haired freshman motive of like, these bullies. Not really. I didn't really. It was vaguely similar. But so Talia blamed Kinley for her brother's bullying. She really loves her brother. She was like, I'm gonna hook this homophobic bitch up because she ruined my brother's life. She did not know that Kinley was gay. Kinley does come out. I said that, I think, already. She didn't know that Kinley was secretly gay. And when we get all this, Kinley is like, oh my god, like, I should have just come out. This is kind of my fault because the bullying happened because of me and I just kind of let it go on. And if I hadn't stopped it, like, maybe the bullying wouldn't have been so bad. She does feel like she caused this. And Kinley's family does not press charges against Talia. So, I guess she's fine. No one's in jail. No one got murdered. I don't really know what Talia's full plan was. Was she gonna murder this girl? Or just, like, confront her? Because, like, she hid in a locker. There is some convenience here that, like, she got the perfect locker. I guess she was trying to avoid the cameras for the confrontation, but, like, what was she gonna do? Like, supposedly knock her the fuck out. But the more I think about it, the more I'm like, but what does that accomplish? Were you gonna kill her? That's extreme. That's a lot. Or were you just going to confront her and talk about it? But like even if you like knock her out, even if that was your goal to knock her out, but she doesn't know why you knocked her out. So like, would she stop being a homophobe? Maybe if you give her brain damage, she stops being a homophobe. Also, speaking of homophobes, we learned that the principal was the one who wrote the gays watch out, I'm coming for you at homecoming note, just to like fuck with them, to like basically to get them stopped. He was trying to scare them into just shutting the fuck up and going away because he was annoyed that they kept breaking into his fucking office and being annoying. So I did call that was not like a real note, but I didn't get who wrote it or like why. I think I did consider that this was the principal, but I didn't say that, so you don't have proof of that. And I was like, I knew it was like a fake note. I knew it was a red herring, like not actually relevant. So yeah, it was Talia. I mean, I did accuse her. I accused everyone. The janitor just had nothing to do with it. Just the guy. They liked him. He was nice. He just found some drugs and turned him in like a good, honest man. And all that stuff about his sick daughter, not relevant. I fell for it. I think I was supposed to fall for it. I did. I did indeed. I guess it's a pretty satisfying ending. I didn't call it. It wasn't totally predictable and boring. I'm kind of glad it wasn't the drug thing, because that's boring. I thought maybe it would be like one of the bad guys, you know, because I thought, you know, if you make it one of the gay kids, it's like, oh, the gay kids are committing crimes and they are violent, and that's maybe not a good message for this very pro-LGBT book. But she was doing it in defense of, it was the allies. The allies were the problem. But the victim understood her motivations and then didn't punish her for it. So no one really got, it wasn't a murder. Bit extreme. Talia did, she had some things going on. She had a lot going on. Hope she gets some help. Yeah. I'm not pretty good. I'm mostly satisfied. I wasn't like blown away, like, oh my god, what an evil mastermind plan. Cause like, what was she gonna do? Was she gonna kill that girl? She got real lucky when she picked the exact locker. She must have really known their plan. I'm gonna assume. Because otherwise she got real fucking lucky. But like, also, why did she do this at school? Because she's best friends with Kinley. So like, they could have done this anytime. They could have just had a conversation, to be honest. She could have just said, hey, stop being homophobic toward my brother. And like really meant it. And like really had it blow up. And then like tried to get some of the other girls to turn against Kinley for being a homophobe. I don't know. I think there were better ways to go about this. But Talia is messy, so I guess this was on brand. And then there is a denouement. Everything is great. The kids get their club restored. The principal gets fired. People stop bullying them so much. The club gets reinstated. More people join. The pink-haired freshman joins. She's a sophomore. Her name is Rosie. She's a lesbian, and she comes up to Eleanor at the end of the book and was like, this is really cool and I'm really glad I got to join. Yay. And then Eleanor is like, oh my god, I'm so glad that more people are joining, because at the start of the book they mentioned that this club is only 4 members and they're all seniors, and once they graduate there's no gay club, and that sucks for the younger gay kids. And now there are younger gay kids to inherit the club when our main 4 graduate. And so this was set up immediately from the beginning that the pink-haired freshman would inherit the club and not be the murderer. So I probably should have picked up on that. Probably. That was there right from the beginning. Real clear story arc. But Kinley confesses her feelings for Eleonora. They get to dance at homecoming. It works out. Yep. So I'm an idiot. But it was fun. I had a good time. I liked this. I might do this again. I'd like to get it right next time. I do think playing along sort of aided my enjoyment of this book. I do think it's a good book. I'd give this like 4 stars. I liked it. I had a fun time, and I had an especially fun time doing this. And I think I'll like remember this book because I was like actively participating, and like stopping and thinking about it and going over the whole thing, sort of scene by scene. Not every scene, but more than I do usually. So it's pretty good. Not like my favorite book of all time. But pretty satisfying. Pretty cool, pretty funny book. Good little mystery. I enjoyed myself, and I would like to do this again. If you know any queer, sapphic, LGBT, BLT mystery novels for me to solve, I would like recommendations for that, because I don't read a lot of these. And I would like to, and I'd like to do another video like this. If you have a book that you think I should do a video like this on, that has like good twists, that I can use my brain power on, I'd like that. Even though I'm clearly not even good at like YA, so I can't guarantee that I'll solve a real mystery novel. But I'd like to try. I'll get better if I do it more, maybe. But let me know if you like this, or if you guessed it, or if you've read this book, or if you were reading along, Or if you were just listening to me and going, obviously it's Talia. What is this guy talking about? Who cares about the fucking janitor? But let me know. Give me book recs. Like the video. Subscribe. Have a good day. Be smarter than me. Well, I think we can call that another successful video. Cheers. Anybody want a grape?